So you accept an order on DoorDash, Uber Eats, or GrubHub. You go to the restaurant to pick up that order, and when you get to the restaurant, the customer texts you and says, "I'm sorry, I put the wrong address." What is it that you do in this situation when you are on an active order and the order address that they want it dropped off to is different than the one that's on the app? My name is John McFall, and I want to welcome you to the McFallRI channel, where I teach you how to make $25 to $30 an hour doing food delivery. Today, I want to talk to you about a situation that I ran into yesterday, and it wasn't a bad one. The guy put in his address, and he actually put in the wrong digit. His house was right next to the house that what was slated to drop off to, but sometimes when we get orders from customers, they put the wrong address, and it can be sometimes miles away from where the drop off is. So today I kind of want to break down for you what you do in this situation and what you are obligated to on these platforms when you run into this situation. The first thing I want to say is that when you accept an order on one of these platforms, you accept an order based on how much it's paying you and how far you are having to drive. When you accept an order and a customer has put an order in, you are accepting an order to pick it up from the restaurant and to deliver it to the address that the customer put into the order at that particular time. We run into a situation a lot of times where customers will put in an address that might be their work address, and then let's say they order from home and they forget to change it, so their home address is not the one that they are having us deliver it to, but that's where they are. So what is your obligation when you run into this situation on the platforms? Your obligation is to pick it up from the restaurant and to deliver it to the address that the platform gives you, and you are not obligated beyond that. I've had many situations over the last couple of years, the almost 3,500 deliveries that I've done, that I have had a customer put the incorrect address. When I run into this situation, the first thing I do is, before I even say anything to the platform, is I ask the customer what is the difference between the miles of delivering it to what the app says compared to where they actually are. A lot of times when I get into this situation, they tell me that it is either next door, like I had the situation yesterday, or they tell me that it's about the same distance or less than what the app is showing me. In this situation, I will actually go ahead and deliver it to wherever they are. If I run into a situation where they tell me their address and it is, even a mile or 2 miles further than where it is, I take it on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes I'm in a good mood and I will go ahead and take that delivery to where they are, especially if it's landing me in one of my sweet spots that I know I can get more orders. I will go ahead and do it. Other times, if it's not, I will tell the customer I apologize, but I am obligated only to take it to the address that is in the app when they place the order, and that's the furthest that my obligation goes. And I take it to that address and I snap a photo of it, or I put, if it's a hand it to me, I put I can't find the customer, and then I let the timer run out, and then I am done with the order. It's unfortunate that some customers forget to change the address if they're at home and the address on the app is at work, or they've typed in the incorrect address, or whatever the case might be. But the bottom line is we are out here to make money. Our time is our dollars, and the distance that we have to drive to deliver orders is a huge factor when we decide on what orders that we are taking. So if you run into into a situation where a customer has the wrong address in the app, you really got to take it on a case-by-case basis, and you really got to take a look at the situation at that moment to decide how you're going to handle it. Your only obligation when you accept an order is to pick it up from the restaurant that the app tells you that it's supposed to be picked up from, and to deliver it to the address that the app gives you. Each time you hit that accept button, you accept that contract, and that is the furthest that your obligation goes. You're not obligated to anything else. Obviously, you're obligated to not tamper with the food, but picking it up from that restaurant, delivering it to the address that's in the app is kind of where your obligation ends. So if you run into a situation where a customer put the incorrect address, take it on a case-by-case basis and determine what you're going to do for that customer. Most of the time it is a situation where they didn't intentionally. There are some times where customers will put in one address that's closer, and they will try to switch the address on you to have you take it further so that they don't have to pay as much for the service. If you run into that situation and you know that situation is happening, take it to the address in the app and don't take it any further. So I hope I taught you a little bit today about what happens when you get the wrong address on the app compared to where the customer actually is. But you know pretty much on a case-by-case basis if it was intentional or not intentional. And most of the time it's actually not intentional on the customer's part. They just made a mistake in putting the address in, or they forgot to switch it from their work to their home. So take it how you want it when you're out there doing food delivery. But remember, your only obligation when you hit that accept button is to take it to the address that's listed on the app when you accept that order. I want to remind you that down here in my description I have some great tools for you. The one I want to talk to you about today is my metric spreadsheet. If you have not been keeping track of your metrics, you don't know where you are overall. We have good days and we have bad days when you're out here, so I put together this metric spreadsheet so that you can see what your averages are and see how you're doing overall. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen real quick so you guys can take a quick look at it. If you look at the left-hand side, you'll see I always put my start time and my end time. This gives me the total time that I've worked. I also put in the miles, and then if you head to the right, you'll see that for each individual app, I put the dollars that I've made, the time that I worked, along with the number of deliveries. Head to the bottom then, and you'll see it calculates out what your average dollar per hour, dollar per mile, along with your average per order. To know where you are and to see where you need to improve, it starts by keeping track of your metrics. So head down into my description and go grab a free copy of it for yourself. I'd also like to ask you to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. And finally, I want to leave you with, I hope that you are out there getting the money that you and your family deserve. And with that, I want to say thanks.